Hi, so here I am with my essay on Things Fall Apart. I've got two previous videos where I showed how to first construct a working thesis statement and an outline, and then to have a first draft. So I have a first draft of my essay, which is about 800 words long, which is the word limit. And now I'm going to show how to clean it up and to turn the first draft into something that I might call a rough draft, or something that could be turned in if I needed to. Three things I've done since the last video where I constructed the essay is, these are just small things, but I've done them, so I should tell you. I did do some slight changes to the essay. I just fixed some capitalization problems and some spelling issues and little things like that. Maybe a couple words I changed it, repeated words. I just changed some errors, cleaned it up a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. Then I also went into the text, Things Fall Apart, and I got the names of some minor characters out. For example, the daughter of Obiorika, her name is Akueke, and she's the one that gets married. And also the fighting couple, the wife beater, his name was Uzowulu, and his wife, whose name was Mbafo. I pulled their names out. So what I did is I couldn't remember their names when I was typing up the essay, but I went back in and pulled out their names and put the names on it. That gives more authenticity to my essay and makes it more clear that I understand the text, that I understand the novel. That's going to help me in my marks. So I want to use the names of the minor characters. You know, don't just forget them or shrug your shoulders. All you have to do is just go into the book and find them, right? So that was easy. I also changed the paragraphing structure from space between paragraphs to just an indentation. I can show you what that means. So, I started with this outline. I changed the outline a little bit. Then I went into the text, not the textbook, which I said last time. Oh, by the way, that quote there, I like that quote. I'm going to just highlight that because that's Uncle Uchendu. I'm quite fond of Uncle Uchendu. And that's a significant quote. I might even make that the title of my essay. So as I said, I first started by a thesis statement and an outline in 7 steps. Then I condensed the outline a little bit, turned it into more like 5 or 6 with some subpoints. Then I did go into the text, into Things Fall Apart, and pulled out lots of quotations that I might use to support my argument. Remember, good nonfiction writing is usually about defending a thesis or defending a thesis statement. So I've had this working thesis statement throughout this process, and here it is. And, it's changed a little bit. So here's my essay. And I'll get into that after a second. But what I'm going to do now is, this document's turning out to be kind of long, but that's okay, because it's just e-space, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to insert a page break, and I'm going to paste it, because obviously I've written the same thing many times here, but I can clean it all up at the end. And I want to have some kind of memory of the process. Of course, I can always use this version history, but instead of just cutting and hacking like Okonkwo does with his machete, hacking my essay with a bunch of strokes and cuts and all of that, I'm going to actually just copy it first, and then, so if I have to, I can always go back to my original first draft. So here's my essay. I'm going to just go ahead and change, like I said, it's about 800 words. I'm going to change it to, something like size 18 font to help you guys who are watching the video and to help me. and then I'll look at it more later. So I'll go back and change that to 11 or 12 size font later. But so as you can see, what I've done is, my paragraphing used to look like this. It used to look like this, and that's actually not quite right. It's better to just use indentations. It doesn't matter much, but the indentations are a little bit better for an essay of this type. Those are small things. Forget about all that. But you want to make a good impression on your reader. I should say a few words about who your reader is, but let's just say at this time your reader is your teacher and the person who's grading your paper. Actually, your reader is bigger and more important than that, but that's a secret, and I'll just leave that alone for now. So what am I going to do now? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the editing, and by the way, I want to, it's 21:50, so I want to finish this within 45 minutes. So if I started 5 minutes ago, that would be about 22:30. So I'm going to finish this by 10:30. I'm not sure why my tabs are in different places. That's a bit odd. Oh, there they are. Okay. So I'm going to finish this within 40 minutes. And as I said earlier, it's nice to just break these things up into chunks and to set deadlines for yourself and say, okay, 40 minutes from now, I'm going to have an essay that's cleaner and that I can work with. Now, the other thing that's really important here is that I have the assessment criteria with me. Okay, and I'm just going to remind myself of the assessment criteria before I actually go ahead and, there's other people on this essay as well. That's interesting. Okay, good. The assessment criteria show, I made a mistake there. I didn't really want to put this essay in. Oh no, these are the assessment criteria, right? Okay, good. So that's good. Who should I say hi to? Hitesh and Shrishti, glad to see you're working 2 weeks before the deadline on your essay. That's really good. Of course, you never know. They could have just opened it and left it there. But I have a feeling they're working. These are two responsible students, and I'm really proud of them. I should probably just say hi, but no, they probably get freaked out, so I won't do that. So here are my assessment criteria, and I'm not going to bother reading the first 4 levels. I'm going for the top level, man. I want a 7, right? So this is what I want. I want that my response, that means my essay, demonstrates a thorough and perceptive understanding of the literal meaning of Things Fall Apart. So I need to understand the book itself. I mean, what he wrote. I need to understand all these little words like obi and these proverbs and, what happened. I need to understand the literal meaning of the book, not the metaphorical meaning. That's different. That's going to come in the next criterion, I think. There is a convincing and insightful interpretation of the larger implications and subtleties of the text. So that one's a little bit tricky. I have to make sure I've got some subtleties of the text in there. That's where that title about albinos is going to come in. References to the text are well chosen and effectively support the candidate's ideas. I would probably say the candidate's arguments or the candidate's thesis, but okay, the IB says the candidate's ideas. Secondly, again, I'm going after the top level here. So the response, that's my essay, demonstrates an insightful and convincing analysis of textual features. What are textual features? And or authorial choices. What are authorial choices? Authorial choices are the decisions that Chinua Achebe made when he wrote the book. For example, how to end it. Well, he decided to end it by having Okonkwo hang himself. That was one of the more peculiar authorial choices. But, he made many other authorial choices as well, such as giving a prominent role to Obiorika or to make Okonkwo kind of a sexist beast. Those are authorial choices. Textual features are things like, the story, the plot, the scenery, the setting, the characters, the characterization, all of that. The structure, how he broke it into 3 parts, etc. So there should be a good evaluation, a very good evaluation of how these features choice meaning, right? Another textual feature is the shift from Umuofa to Umbanta back to Umuofa, and then of course Umuofia, and then of course the arrival of the white colonists or the missionaries. So language, I'm usually pretty good with language. Language is very clear, effective, carefully chosen, and precise, with a high degree of accuracy in grammar, vocabulary, and sentence construction. Register and style are effective and appropriate to the task. Definitely register and style I'm usually pretty good with. Sentence construction I'm going to have to pay attention to. And then the other criterion is the presentation of ideas is effectively organized and coherent. The analysis is well focused. It can't be too big or too small. I can't be trying to take on too much, or it can't be too, so anyway, there are the criteria. I'm running out of time, so I'm going to get back to my essay, right? So here I am. I've changed it to 18 font to make it easier for you to read. Now I'm going to go through the essay. Now, when I read, I kind of read out loud. I might read it. When I read what I have written, I normally read it out loud. I don't have anybody around me who will think I'm weird at this time. But if you don't read it literally out loud, you kind of have to hear how it sounds. That's a bit tricky. One thing that you have to be clear about is that written language and spoken language are different things. Spoken language comes first. So what we're doing when we're writing language is we're sort of imitating spoken language. And how it sounds is important. So it's probably a good idea to either read it out loud or at least hear it in your own mind. And make sure that the person who is reading it will hear it well, because she or he will also be kind of either reading it out loud or hearing it in her own mind. So I'm going to read it out loud because I'm making a video for you, and if you actually exist and there's actually anybody watching this silly video. But I would probably read it out loud myself because I'm in my own little office space here, and nobody's listening to me and pointing fingers at me and suggesting that I'm crazy. That happens all the time with my family, but that's another story. So let's go. I'm going to correct it here, clean it up, and try to get it more fluid. The flow of the essay is really important. And I'm also going to make sure that I've ticked off those assessment criteria. So let's get started. In Things Fall Apart, notice that I've put the title of the book in italics, which is appropriate. If you want to learn more about how to italicize, I recommend Grammar Girl. I always recommend Grammar Girl. I think she's great. In Things Fall Apart, Achebe. So, even immediately I'm just assuming the reader is smart enough to know that Things Fall Apart is written by Achebe, and I don't even use the word Chinua. I probably should, actually. I should probably give his full name. Let's do that. Chinua Achebe is critical of colonialism, which he is, but he shows that the arrival of the white man did not destroy Igbo culture. So that, in a nutshell, is my thesis. He demonstrates that Igbo culture is resilient, yes, and was not destroyed by the arrival of the white colonialists. Instead, he shows how the Igbo culture transformed itself in response to the challenges posed by Christianity and the white colonialists. So I've used the words white colonialists twice there. I don't really like that. That's a repetition. I'm just going to change this first one to missionaries. Okay, that's essentially the same thing, but it also is sort of hinting that Christianity is a big part of this, right? Okay, so he demonstrated that. That looks pretty good. So essentially, that's my introduction and my thesis statement. It's a short introduction and a short thesis statement, but I'm only given, it's a short introduction and a long thesis statement, actually. But I'm only given 800 words, so there it is. Okay, now I actually like this sentence. I struggled with whether to include it or not. But Things Fall Apart is a novel about men. Now, that's an important statement. It's an argument, okay? I'm saying that, in the next line is, the women in the novel, although important, I'm not sure I need those two words, but yeah, I'll leave them in for now. The women in the novel, although important, are given secondary roles by Achebe. Okay. So there, I'm saying, look, it's Achebe, it's not me, okay? I'm not writing about men because I'm a sexist. He did it. He's the one that wrote about men, okay? So that's the first thing I'm kind of, these are touchy things, and I've struggled with this. I mean, and especially since our friend Professor Anene mentioned, why are the women silent in this novel? I've thought about that a lot, and I do want to kind of give them a voice, but actually the novel is about men. It's about, Okonkwo and Obiorika. And I would say the third most important character, even though he has kind of a small part, is Uchendu, or maybe Nwoye. And and then you've got, Mr. Brown and Reverend Smith and all of them. And, when you get Ekwefi and Ezinma and some of the women in the novel, they really do have secondary roles. So that's something that Achebe has done, and I'm saying it. So that's my analysis of the novel. So I'm happy with those sentences. I'm going to stick with that. It is a story about the male leaders of Umuofia, their masculinity, and how they will defend their clan against the onslaught of the whites. The two principal characters are Okonkwo and Obiorika. Okonkwo is the protagonist, but Obiorika is the hero. Now, I like sentences like that. That is actually analysis. Some people might disagree with this, but that's not just a summary of the description of what happened in the novel. There's some analysis in there. Obiorika is the character who demonstrates the resilience, manliness, and adaptability that is required for Igbo culture to transform itself, there's that word again, and withstand the attack by British colonialism. In the last video, I sort of said, I need to demonize British colonialism a little bit more here. That's, just what we do when we write about literature. Don't get me started on the politics of British colonialism. Please, I won't go there. Okonkwo, on the other hand, with his hyper-masculinity, does not have the attributes that are required to resist the whites. So notice that I've kind of suggested here that the real struggle is, how do we resist the whites? I haven't said it explicitly, but I'm interpreting the book, you see. His identity, his fear, and his misunderstanding of his own conduct. Okay, that's way too many times the word his, so I need to change that sentence. His identity, all right, fear. Actually, I should probably put fear first. His fear, identity, and misunderstanding of his own culture make him incapable of adapting to the new situation. So the new situation, again, is the attack of British colonialism. Okay, so Achebe's conception of Igbo masculinity is that it must be balanced, adaptable, fearless, loyal, and aligned with the community. Okay, I don't like that sentence. There are a lot of adjectives in there. So do I need all those adjectives? Balanced, yes, that's definitely part of what Achebe is saying. Adaptable, yes. Fearless, yes. Loyal, yes. And absolutely, most importantly, aligned with the community. So I'm not willing to surrender any of those adjectives. What can I do to clean up this sentence a little bit? Achebe's conception of Igbo masculinity is that it must be. That's where it's ugly. Is that it must be. Okay. I got it. So let's just look at it, okay? So this is an ugly sentence, and watch how I clean it up a little bit. What am I really trying to say? Do I need conception in here? No, conception is like when a sperm meets an egg or something. It's not really required. And what is this? Is that it must be. It's just too many little words in a row. So let me try this. Okay, see this sentence? Achebe's conception of Igbo masculinity is that it must be balanced, adaptable, fearless, loyal, and aligned with the community. Now watch this. To Achebe, comma. I need to talk about commas a little. To Achebe, comma. Igbo masculinity is. Now you see how that to Achebe, Igbo masculinity is balanced, adaptable, fearless, loyal, and aligned with the community. Do you see how that sentence is so much clearer, cleaner, more direct? And that's kind of what I meant when I went through the assessment criteria and said, the language needs to be clear and the sentence structure needs to be good. So this is where I'm trying to actually, well, first of all, most importantly, I should do this. Let me do this. Let me just do this. This is important. Okay, I'm going to erase this afterwards. But, since we're talking about British colonialism, let me just bring in a little bit of polite Victorian manners. Dear reader, thank you for taking the time to read my essay. I hope you enjoy it. That's just a reminder to myself. I'm obviously going to take that out before I submit the essay. Maybe I shouldn't, but I'm going to take it out but it's a reminder to myself. This is the important person in this process. This person right here. My reader should be comfortable. My reader should understand what I'm saying. My reader should actually be enjoying my essay, because she or he is doing me a great favor by reading my essay. I've put a lot of time into it, and it's nice of this reader to actually acknowledge my time and my efforts. So where was I? Where am I? Oh, I'm running out of time here. I want to finish by, what did I say? I was going to finish by 10:20 or 10:30. Where am I? Okay. To Achebe, Igbo masculinity is balanced, adaptable, fearless, loyal, and aligned with the community. These traits are represented by Obirika Educhendu. Most importantly, an Igbo man must be connected to his family and his culture. There's that word again. That's good. Obirika is well loved by his family, and the festivities leading up to the wedding of his daughter, Akueke, are the novel's most joyful occasions. Leading up to. Do I need all those words? How about this? And the festivities before. Just, again, make it simpler, make it clearer. The wedding of his daughter, Akueke. Do I need comma there? I don't think so, but some people would put commas. Achebe sends several signals that a good Igbo man must be fearless. I don't really need to write Igbo so many times. I can just write that a good man must be fearless, and he must understand the balance between male and female. I might want masculine and feminine there, but fine, male and female is okay. Okonkwo, however, beats his wives, mistreats his children, disrespects his mother, and hates his father. He's a bad guy, and I'm going to say it. These are not masculine traits. Okonkwo hates everything feminine, and he is full of fear. His whole life was dominated by fear. That's a quote from the text. Furthermore, Okonkwo disrespects the goddess, the earth, and the oracle. One of the most important passages, I don't think I need of the book, obviously it's in the book, is the conversation between, let me just do this, in Things Fall Apart. Okay, I took that out, and I didn't really like the way it sounded after I took it out. And then why call it the book? I haven't used Things Fall Apart in a while, so just remind my reader that I know what I'm talking about and that I'm on track here. I'm on point, as we say. One of the most important passages in Things Fall Apart, this is actually one of my central arguments here, is that this is a sub-argument to my bigger argument that, it's about the transformation of the culture, how to resist the white men, the masculinity, And in order for me to give evidence for that, I need to call attention to this passage, which is the conversation between Obiorika and Okonkwo, where Obiorika chides his friend for killing Ikemefuna. It is an argument between friends. I like that. So this is a writing technique that I use a lot, and I think it's a good one, so I might as well share it with you. This is kind of a long sentence, and it's kind of difficult to understand. There's names in there. There's a lot going on. There's different categories. There's a lot of African names. It might be a bit hard for some of my readers to understand that. One of the most important passages is a conversation be over here. So I follow a long sentence with a really short, direct sentence. It is an argument between friends. See, one of the things that you're doing when you're writing, one of the biggest, most important things to remember when you're writing, again, it comes up to this, is, dear reader, be nice to your reader. Remember that she or he has the choice to stop reading what you're writing. She might get bored. She might get confused. She might say, forget this, I'd rather watch YouTube. And, it's your obligation as the writer to keep her or him engaged, right? So that's why one of the quickest ways you could lose your reader is stringing together consecutive long sentences. So one of the things I like to do is, after I write a long sentence that might be confusing, follow it up with a short, direct sentence. Okay, so where was I? I was on a long sentence. Short sentence. It is an argument between friends. Okonkwo defends his actions and suggests that Obiorika is afraid of blood. Another short sentence. Obiorika reacts strongly. You know very well, Okonkwo, that I am not afraid of blood, and if anyone tells you that I am, he is telling a lie. And let me tell you one thing, my friend. If I were you, I would have stayed at home. What you have done will not please the earth. It is the kind of action for which the goddess wipes out whole families. Here, Obiorika foreshadows the end of the story. Okonkwo is out of touch with his culture. He does not respect the earth and the goddess. His fear, aggressive violence, and hyper-masculinity are leading him into actions that will bring terrible consequences. That's true. We are beginning to see, so this is my interpretation and my analysis of the novel, that Okonkwo has a tragic flaw. He will destroy himself because he does not know how to be a man. So this essay is turning out to be a lot about masculinity, and that's not really what I intended when I wrote the outline, but that's okay. That's where my brain carried me, and that's okay. Umuofia and the Igbos have a resilient culture and a system that can transform any challenge, whether internal or external. I haven't explained that line, and maybe I should take it out, but what I mean there is internal being, the stuff within the Igbos, and external being these white colonialists, these Britishers. Internally, Achebe shows how the clan deals with challenges such as the dispute between the wife-beater Uzowulu and his wife Ngubafo. So obviously I need capitalization there. The Igugu. Now here's an interesting thing. Should I italicize that or not? The answer is yes. The Igugu, I hope I've got that word right. I'll check it. Settle it and proclaim it is not bravery when a man fights with a woman. Okay, that's more evidence that we need balance. Page 68. The Umuofia clan also knows how to deal with Okonkwo after his crime of killing Ezudo's 16-year-old son. Here I'm making it very clear that I understand the literal meaning of the text. He is exiled to his mother's village where he must learn to accept his feminine side. Okay, that's not explicitly stated. It comes out of Utrenda's speech, but that's analysis. Okonkwo's mistakes were forgiven, but he is sullen and angry and cannot overcome his misguided machismo. See, this part is straight out of the text. He is sullen and angry, but this part is my analysis. He cannot overcome his misguided machismo. So, that's part of what we're doing here. Most of the students tend to write things that are just descriptive, like that, and they don't tack on the part that's analytical, like that. Atamabanta Achebe signals again that Okonkwo's toxic masculinity, that's a new term that I learned, is not aligned with Igbo culture. So here I'm saying that the authorial, remember my assessment criteria say things like, authorial choices. So that's why I continually bring up that this is part of Achebe. This is Achebe's creation. These are his choices, right? So when he learns that Nwoye has embraced the Christians, I had to get Nwoye in there. I've kind of neglected him so far. Okonkwo grabs his son by the neck, beats him savagely. By the way, that word is taken straight out of the text, and almost kills him. It is uncle, by the way, I added this word uncle to give a little sort of Indianization to it. It is, or Africanization for that matter. I think Africans use that word quite a lot too. It is Uncle Uchendu, alerted by the screams of Okonkwo's wives, who intervenes to save the boy's life. So again, I'm kind of reinforcing that Okonkwo is not a nice guy, and shouts at Okonkwo, "Are you mad?" Love it. Great little, remember, my reader is probably Indian. Anyway, it's not going to get me extra points. But "are you mad" is something that we say a lot in India, isn't it? The last pages of the book inform us that, so now I'm coming to the end. Actually, what happened here is I kind of ran out of time and ran out of word count. So I have to rush my ending, and that's kind of obvious to me. I hope the grader doesn't notice it. The last pages of the book inform us that not only has Okonkwo rejected his culture, but his culture has rejected him. The final conversation between Obiorika and Okonkwo does not go well. Obviously, I have to clean up the... they have been called to the marketplace for an assembly of the tribesmen to decide how to respond to the white man's aggressions. Obiorika is willing to let the assembly take place and is cordially greeting his friend, but Okonkwo is seething with anger. He has turned his back on his culture. He cannot accept its transformation. He is a lone wolf. When Obiorika asks if he is afraid that Egonwane, another minor character that I brought in, will convince the crowd not to fight, Okonkwo responds, "Afraid? I do not care what he does to you. I despise him and all those who listen to him. I shall fight alone if I choose." And that's what he does. He fights alone, kills one man, and then hangs himself. He is buried by the servants of the white man, the district commissioner. Should I put that in? Yeah, let me do it. Again, this is just sort of letting the reader know that I know who the minor characters are. I better spell it right, though. That would be better. The people of Umuofia refuse to touch his body. Igbo culture has been transformed. That needs a comma. If there's a pause in when you're reading it, it probably needs a comma. And toxic masculinity, fear-based arrogance, and aggressive violence represented by Okonkwo are being removed from the culture. There's one last thing that I said earlier that I think I want to do, and that is I want to bring in that quotation that I put in light blue up here. Where was it? Yes, I like this. So I'm going to put this down here. Okay, now, as Uchendu had said earlier, this is a better way to kind of wrap it up. I'm going to get rid of this highlighting and the bold text, and I'm going to finish with the quotation mark there, and I'm going to make it the same font size, probably change that uppercase T to a lowercase t. The world has no end, and what is good among one people is an abomination with others. We have albinos among us. Yeah, it's okay. It's pretty good. It's okay. All right, so I'm going to take this out. All right. Then what I'm going to do is, where's my bibliography? As it turns out, I only used the one source. Now I have to, of course, I have to change the text size to either 11 or 12. I might make it 11 and then make it the spacing. I'll probably change to, I'll probably change to, I'm going to make it 12. Make it easier on my readers. In this case, I happen to know that my readers are two teachers that are not young. Okay, so now I've got my essay. I think I should probably do a title page. I might do that later. Looks pretty good. Here I have to insert a page break and then put my works cited in. As it turned out, I've only quoted the one, I've only cited, I shouldn't say quoted, I should say cited, the one, what happened to my works cited page? There it is. I've only cited the novel itself. So at one point I thought, maybe I was going to, why is the blue underline here? The world has no end. What is good among one people is an abomination with others. Ignore. We have albinos amongst us. Okay, I like that. I think I'm going to use it as my quote. To be perfectly frank, so I better take that out. Now, is one work enough? Usually I would say no, but because I've been given this 800 word limit by my evil teachers, I'm going to say, okay, that's okay. I didn't have to bring other essays in. Am I going to add a title page? Well, maybe, but what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go and I'm going to look at the word count and I'm going to put that in there, okay? And what is the word count? I hope it's not too much. 888. And so one of the problems with the word count is that these things get counted as words, these page numbers. So that's only a small thing. 1, 2, 3. Do I have enough quotes in there? I think so. 4. I've got at least one more in there. That's 5. I need this. What page is this? I think it was. I better check that. I'll check that later. But maybe it's just I think it was something like 103 or 100. Yeah, it was right around 100. I have it up here. Let me find that. The page number 100. No. What is it? Oh no, 68 or something, right? Okay, I'll fix that. Okay, I'm going to fix that. I'm not going to take too much of your time when you're watching my video here. I think that was page 68 actually. But I'll fix that. Okay, so I've got about 5 or 6 words that are page numbers, but also I've got these block quotes. And that is, so if I had 5 to 68, that's 73. So now I'm at 803. So what I can do, just to try to beat the word count, is just turn this into a block quote too. Now typically, block quotes are supposed to be, at least 3 lines long, but I'm just going to turn it in here. And so what did I say? I said, so how many words is this? This is word count. So 5, let's just say 5 page numbers And that word count was 22, and this word count was 67, so that's 89 plus 5 is 94. Subtract that from the total word count, which was so subtract 94 from 889, so I've got 795. That's about right. So I'm going to put here note I'm going to put word count. Okay, this is about it for today. 795. I've got 6 minutes left to go. Note the works cited, the block quotes, the block quotations, I really should call it, and the page numbers are not counted in the word count. Now, no teacher's going to hold that against me because, I didn't write those things. Chebe did. So, that's actually going to go in my title page. So let me just take that out. Let me start here and put in this title page. And in my title page, I'm actually going to call it, There Are Albinos Amongst Us. And I should put that into title case, Among Us. And I'm also going to give it a subtitle, okay? So here's the title, which I'm going to put into title case. Of course, albinos needs to be. It's a bit harsh, actually. I am a bit worried that there could be charges of racism or sexism leveled against me, and maybe rightfully so, especially if you're albino, I guess. And now I'm going to give a subtitle, okay? What was it again? I'm going to put the transformation of Igbo culture in Things Fall Apart. Yeah, that's it. And I don't really need to put the white man and the colonialism and all of that into the subtitle because it's suggested there. It's a bit rough. I'm not really happy with that, but I don't think Chinua Achebe thought of these things, but yeah, I've had friends in my life who are albino, and I don't even think we use the word albino anymore. Maybe we do. So now I'm going to write my name. Yeah, I'm a bit worried that I'm being mean to albinos, but okay. So I'm going to write my name, the date, and that bit about the word count. Did I get that right? Word count, 795, not including block quotes, page numbers, or works cited. Okay, that's it for today. I'm getting there. I still have 2 weeks before the deadline, so I'm gonna think about it for a while. I'm not sure about that title. I'm starting to think that the title is racist and it's not right nice, and maybe it is directly quoted from the book, but yeah, That's enough. I've got 2 minutes. The page, there's something not quite right about this title page. I probably need to put it on the right or something. Yeah. I probably need to actually do this. Yeah, first of all, I need to capitalize word count. I should probably call that a footer. I'm going to do this, put this on the right. See if that helps. Makes it a little bit better. Yeah, I'm not really happy with that title, but I thought it was so clever before, but now I'm kind of unhappy with it. The transformation of the ebook culture and things fall apart. Notice I got the two concepts in there, and yeah, there's my essay. Okay, have a nice day or evening or whatever you do, wherever you are. And I might be done for now. Of course, I have 2 weeks left until it needs to be turned in. And when you sleep on your piece of writing, actually, believe it or not, it kind of gets better. You go back to it the next day, you realize little things. So I may come back to this and fix it, but at least I have something that I can turn in now. And I think I'll get a pretty good grade. I'll leave that to the gods, as one of the characters said in Things Fall Apart. The gods still have their ways of fighting, or something like that. Yeah. Bye bye. Thanks for watching. I'll be quiet now.